Our next speaker is Spike Spengel, talking about something that I really needed to listen to because I certainly feel like money is a bad word, especially because I rarely have any in my account. But that's fine. I'm an artist. Support local theater. And I work in the mental health industry. Support everybody, really. Spike wanted to let you know that his favorite fragrance is that of the desert flower. Wait, as it reminds him of going to Arizona State University. It's also the only thing that he can remember from his time at Arizona State University. Yeah. So get ready to learn about talking about money. Here is Spike.
You get a hug before. Ooh, I need a towel. I was 7 years old and quite adorable the first time that I was told not to talk about money. It was my communion, and after the ceremony, family and friends were invited over the house, and they were all handing me cards of congratulations, and inside the cards were cash and checks that were all written out to me. It was the most amount of money that I had ever seen. I was wildly excited, and all I had to do was pretend to be Catholic for a morning. But very quickly, one of my relatives came over to me and said, "Stop, don't do that. Don't count your money out in front of everyone. It's really rude." And then I started to think of all the other times in my life I was told not to talk about money. Don't ask the neighbors about their big brand new car. In fact, at some workplaces, at some large corporations, it can actually be a fireable offense if you try to compare salaries. It's strange to me that seemingly the last taboo subject that's left on the planet is us talking about money together. I'm sure there's all kinds of information on the internet, but the conversations, we just don't seem to have the tools for it. I mean, in fact, if your 8 or 9-year-old asks mommy or daddy, where do babies come from and why do I look more like daddy's best friend Jeff? Well, there are thousands of books written on that subject matter, but today we still don't talk about money. Look, we live in a capitalist society, whether you like it or not, that says if you work hard, you too can get ahead. And that's true as long as the rules of the game are played fairly for everyone. Right now, most Americans feel like they're getting crushed in the financial wars, like Custer at the Alamo if the Mexican army had nukes. Today, the top 1% of wealthy Americans own more wealth than the entire lower 90% of the population. Corporate profits have doubled in the last 15 years, but median incomes have gone down. Healthcare costs are the highest that they've ever been in U.S. history. Same thing with U.S. student debt. The average employee needs to work 1 month for what a CEO makes in 1 hour. And I can't even go into the racial and gender statistics without passing out air sickness bags. The chasm between the haves and the have-nots is huge. I know this because I've talked to thousands of Americans all across the country about their personal finances and their financial investments. And the number one thing that people say to me at the end of an event is, I wish somebody talked to me about money 30 years ago. I wish somebody talked to me about this stuff. The good news is that behaviors are learned. And we've been studying a field called behavioral finance for the last 7 decades, Nobel Prize-winning economic research that also says that behaviors can be relearned. We have several dozen behavioral biases that get in the way of wanting to have financial conversations with one another. And it seems to be really sticking with us. So, for instance, one of the behavioral biases that gets in the way of you wanting to talk about money is you feel this, right? Well, this one's called catastrophizing bias. I don't have any money, there's no reason to get started. Well, you've heard of lottery winners who have won millions of dollars only to declare bankruptcy within a few years. You don't have to wait to have money to learn how it works. Another reason that you might feel like you don't want to talk about money is you feel like you're not smart enough. Look, this one actually breaks my heart. I've literally talked to rooms full of rocket scientists. I've literally talked to rooms full of brain surgeons who will come up to me after an event, hand me their 401ks or their investments and say, Spike, can you explain this to me? I have no idea what I'm doing. I just want to let you know you're not alone. This stuff can be very overwhelming. But a third reason that we generally don't like talking about money is the conversation usually isn't steered towards you. Generally speaking, most financial advertisements and commercials are geared towards this very specific segment, right? When a commercial comes on, I can't tell if they're about to talk about wealth management, silver singles, or Cialis. Statistically speaking, I want you to all answer this with me. Who lives longer lifespans, men or women? Statistically speaking, who tends to get paid less in the workforce, therefore needing to make more money, men or women? This very complex chart will explain it. This is my Grammy Furtek and my Grammy Olszewski. Both of them have lived well into their 90s. Both of my grandfathers passed away years ago. Who should we be focusing the financial conversation on, men or women? Exactly. So who would like for me to give you a happy ending? Wait, let me rephrase that. The financial conversation should go to everyone, no matter what age you are, no matter what stage you are in your life. Everybody deserves to have good financial conversations. So just like we sat down when we were younger about the birds and the bees, sit down with your friends, sit down with your colleagues, sit down with your loved ones, even sit down with your kids and have the money talk. Talk about your worries, talk about your dreams, talk about your goals together. I guarantee you're going to feel a lot better about it. If you'd like to share with me any of your financial stories, things you've learned, funny or sad, feel free to write me here at spike@funnymoneypro.com. Those are all my social medias on the bottom. Thank you all for coming out to this night and supporting live entertainment. My name is Spike Spengel. Have a good evening.